When I saw the snow hit Jaime Lannister's glove at the end of Game of Thrones Season 7, I assumed he was headed north, but after a closer inspection and re-analysis of this scene, so to speak, I think he may actually be headed somewhere different. Let's discuss that, as well as some insane filming news, courtesy of Watched on the Wall. Before we get started, I am actually having a weekly giveaway where all you have to do to enter this contest and win this $20 Amazon gift card, just slap a like on this video, leave a comment down below, make sure you're subscribed, go ahead and turn your notifications on, and then click the gleam.io link down below in the description, and make sure you go and follow all those different bonus ways to enter the contest. The winner will be selected on January 25th. I had to rewatch the scene about 30 times because I'm trying to figure it out. You know, when you're going through the last episode, you have to realize that each character that we see, that last scene we see them in, they're likely going to be in that same situation next season. So when you're trying to make predictions for characters for Season 8, it's best if you go and start off with the last scene you saw them in Season 7. So when I was doing this for Jaime, I noticed that when he first rides out, you can kind of see King's Landing over to the side, like to the left of him. But even before that, you'll notice that it's very somber and very melancholy. The whole tone that they're trying to deliver to you is that winter is finally here, there's snow finally falling on King's Landing. When the scene first starts out, it's really interesting because we see Jaime riding and then something causes him to stop. Now initially I thought it was because the snow had already started hitting his golden hand, but that wasn't the case. He didn't start seeing the snow until he put the glove on. So before that, what makes him initially stop is that he sees his Lannister gold hand out. And he's pretty much renounced his claim to the Lannister title and all of everything Lannister when he left Cersei. So the fact that he's covering up this golden hand is showing you that Jaime's not dead, but his Lannister side is dead. Now this has some major implications going into Season 7. We do know that since Jaime is no longer a Lannister, he will be doing whatever it takes to prove this to everyone else. Like, he's already proved it to himself, but the Starks at Winterfell are not going to be so easily convinced as we as the audience are, because we can see everything. So I think the fact that Jaime is covering this up is Cersei is officially dead to him. So if she does get in some dire situation, we could have a very similar thing that played out in the novels. We could have that play out in the TV show, whereas maybe somehow Cersei's able to get a Lannister troop to go and talk to Jaime like before the crap hits the fan next season, and she's got this dire message of saying, please, can you help me sneak out? I don't want to die here. I want to, I give up, but if they come in here, they're going to kill me. I want your help to get me to escape from this. Jaime could officially say, nope, you're dead to me. So we could have something very similar to that, which happened in the novels where Cersei sends a letter to Jaime, and Jaime pretty much tosses the letter in the fire, showing to us that Cersei's dead to him. Another interesting thing about this is if you think about the bigger picture, Tyrion kind of just did this in Season 5. He renounced everything Lannister and pretty much switched sides to the good guys. Now, with Jaime doing this, that's kind of like the final straw that broke the camel's back. House Lannister is officially dead. Whether we all want to admit it or not, Cersei Lannister, yes, is in power at King's Landing, but that power is so it doesn't mean anything. I couldn't even think of a word to say right there. That's how meaningless Cersei's power is right now in King's Landing. Now, once she gets the Golden Company, obviously that's going to switch things up a little bit and maybe even the playing field out. But as of right now, I think that Jaime Lannister, if you'll notice, he kind of heads in one direction, but then he immediately sort of turns to the right. And yes, it's hard to tell because the background is blurred. They're mainly focused on him. But I think he actually hooked it to go back to a Lannister encampment right outside King's Landing. The main reason being is because he knows that he cannot go to Winterfell empty-handed. Haha, no pun intended. He can't just show up there and say, hey guys, I'm here to help you. I'm one person with no hand and no army. Or sorry, only one hand and pretty much no army. He's got to go to an encampment. I think it would work best if it is an encampment. He might have already been planning this because if you'll notice, he's wearing all black in this shot. So he's kind of doing some, sneaky ninja type behavior, and this may actually be why he covers up his hand, because he knows that it's a shining gold object that could be glimmering. But I think there is definitely an encampment of Lannister soldiers outside King's Landing. I doubt Cersei is a hospitable type of person that would allow them to encamp outside the city, and they're there to protect her, so she feels like it would be better if they were outside the city anyway, so they'd be ready to fight anyone who shows up. I think Jaime may go to this camp and try to offer them something like, hey, I'll pay you 3 times the amount of Cersei's going to pay you if you follow me. And they may say, well, we have to follow the queen. And he's going to say, well, the queen is going to betray Daenerys. Daenerys has those dragons that you just saw because she was just in the dragon pit. She's going to come back and kill all you guys anyway. So do you want to come with me and maybe avoid that death by dragons? This gives us that perfect chance for Bronn to just walk up and be like, hey, you still owe me a castle. And then Jaime ends up recruiting these remaining Lannister troops. I don't think he's going to be able to get all of them. I think he may get a few of them, if not the majority of them. I think it would be really interesting if a few of the troops were left back there and they immediately went and told Cersei. So Cersei's like, oh, okay. I think she definitely, her and Jaime are kind of on the same page, but I think Jaime is more so. I think Cersei's so blind right now, blinded by rage and just only thinking of herself, she doesn't realize how serious Jaime was. So maybe her hearing something like this would finally make both of them on the same page, and maybe she would be willing to make that final step if it calls for killing Jaime. But we do know themes are heavily repeated in Game of Thrones because we all know that history repeats itself. And one of those themes could be, Jaime offering to pay these troops 3 times the amount that Cersei would pay them, and then Bronn shows up. Remember, he is owed a castle, and the fact that Jerome Flynn and Lena Headey dated and they don't want to be filming scenes together, I doubt he's going to be hanging around Cersei. So him going with Jaime gives him a perfect excuse to not kill off Bronn early on in the season, and then send him with Jaime to possibly River Run. I would love to see Bronn, because we do know that Bronn's owed a castle, and honestly, the fact that, Jaime still owes him that castle, that may be Bronn's internal motivation, because we do know that he's motivated by gold, or at least he claims that he is. I think he definitely, cares a lot about Jaime and Tyrion, but that's besides the point. He could just say that because Jaime owes him the castle is the reason why he decided to go along with him, which is also perfect because then he wouldn't have to film scenes with Cersei. But I honestly think that Bronn could get the River Run castle. I feel like it's almost perfect. Like, yes, you do have Edmure there, but I honestly think that, he's kind of, he has his spirit broken. Like, he spent so long inside of a jail cell, and I feel like he has his thing going on with other shows. It may be too hard to kind of get an open schedule to film too many scenes with him. So I don't necessarily think that he'll be shown on screen, but I think he may be killed off. Either way, you guys let me know what you think down below. If somehow, after it's all said and done, if you think Bronn will be given the River Run castle. I doubt that would go over well with Sansa and Arya, because we do know that their mother is a Tully, and technically that's their house castle, so I'm pretty sure they would want one of their allies there and not one of a Lannister ally there. But who's to say that either one of them is going to be alive? And honestly, they may not even contest it, because Bronn can do something super heroic and save one of the Stark sisters right before they die if Winterfell's being sacked. Okay, I know I'm getting really far ahead of myself here, but this is just fun to speculate for Season 8. 1 year is way too long. Sort of wrapping this back around here, I definitely think that Jaime will have to ultra-proof himself for House Stark. So he may show up with, a pseudo army. He may even stop by River Run and try to get some help from Edmure, and then show up to Winterfell with a decent sized army. But I don't think that they're just going to be so willing to accept Jaime inside Winterfell. I don't think that he's done enough yet. He honestly hasn't really done anything. He did help out by sending Brienne to go save Sansa, and Sansa was saved by Brienne. Had he not sent her with, had he not sent Brienne with that armor and sent her on that mission and sent Pod with her, she probably wouldn't have been able to save Sansa. It took her a long time, but she did ultimately save Sansa. So that was under, pseudo Jaime's orders. So he kind of did do something, but he hasn't directly done something. Not that they've seen. So of course that will be discussed, and I think he does have a few allies inside. I think one of those allies is obviously Brienne, but also Pod, and then Tyrion. So he's got, 3 people that are willing to vouch for him, but another person, one of the biggest things that he probably has to worry about is Bran. Bran is going to pull the I know what you did last summer. He's done it with everyone, and Jaime is not going to be any different. The difference, though, is that Bran also knows bigger picture. They kind of need Jaime. They may not need Jaime directly to help take out the Night King, but they need Jaime and his forces to, if not take care of Cersei when she starts to bother them when they're trying to fight the Night King, they might need Jaime to sort of direct the military. Remember, he's got a lot of battle commander experience, and honestly, he may be the one who comes up with that strategy for how to get in close to take out the Night King, to give Jon Snow and that band of 12 companions a chance to go in there, take out the White Walkers, and then kill the Night King. Jaime may be the one to formulate that strategy. It would be in continuing with the theme that history repeats itself if we saw a Lannister last season, make most of the battle plans for Daenerys' camp, and then they all fail, to see another one do it this season, and they're all super successful. We do know that Jaime is set up for a redemption arc. He's had one almost the entire series, and I don't know if he'll make it to the very end. If Jaime does in fact come up with this plan, I see it all going relatively perfect. perfect in Game of Thrones sense. So that obviously means horribly wrong, but still somewhat ultimately works. So with that being said, I think Jaime could prove himself on the battlefield when maybe one of the main characters is about to like bite it, like maybe Jon Snow or Tormund, or just someone like that we all, hold close to our heart. Someone like that is about to die and Jaime rushes in and saves him. I see that all going perfect. Jaime surviving the battle, even though it's unlikely seeing as how he's missing a hand. But all that goes well, and then Jaime goes back to take care of Cersei, and then this is where the problems arise. This was actually mentioned to me from someone who said they had read a supposed fake plot leak, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw up a spoiler warning right now, just so you can click out of this if you don't want to know anything about the potential plot leak. But I'm going to let you know right now, most of the plot leaks that have been out are complete bogus. We did know that Dan and Dave said they were going to be intentionally releasing fake plot leaks online, and these are likely the ones that we've gotten. So with that being said, in one of these supposed plot leaks, apparently at some point in the season, Jaime, Brienne, and a few others are set to go and kill Cersei and the Mountain. And in doing so, Jaime somehow dies. Now apparently Sandor is with this group, and Sandor and Brienne successfully kill the Mountain. But while they're trying to kill the Mountain, Jaime is slain in the chaos, and he ends up dying like in the arms of Cersei. Now, that sounds like fanfic, I know, but I honestly think there's a possibility of that. If you're going along with my theory that Jaime, comes up with is this battle planner for next season, if after that's all said and done, he goes back to sort of take care of Cersei and maybe try to convince her to back down from having the Golden Company come and attack Daenerys and die because she stands no chance, maybe that's when Jaime, goes down there with a few others, and then this is the potential chance for that to happen. We've only seen glimpses of Gregor's rage. We have seen him wreak damage. He's done caused a lot of pain for a lot of characters, but we've left to see him completely fly off the handle. And I honestly predicted that he would do this way back in season 6, trying to protect Cersei, and somehow Tommen is, killed in the chaos or whatever. That didn't happen. So we do know that Sandor told Gregor, what's coming for you, and, basically telling him and everyone else that's watching that, hey, Clegane Bowl 2.0 will in fact be happening. A lot of people like to say, oh, it's Clegane Bowl. That's already happened once. It happened in the very first season, but this will be the 2.0 version with the actual Mountain, the actor. The Mountain's been replaced several times. But with that type of foreshadowing, and this being the last season, I definitely think that if Jaime was sent on that mission to go and try to back Cersei down, the Hound would definitely go along for the ride, and this is where you can have him showing up, words are exchanged, chaos is erupt, and then Jaime is killed under Cersei's orders. Now, before I forget, the way that Jaime's ending up in A Dance with Dragons may have some, foreshadowing into Season 8 and going along with that theory. Now, the last we hear of him is he's actually settling a dispute between the Brackens and the Blackwoods in the River Run area, and he goes to this village called Pennytree where he runs into Brienne. Brienne tells him that she found Sansa Stark, and that in order to keep Sandor Clegane from killing Sansa, Brienne wants Jaime to come with her alone to prevent Sandor from doing this. So that kind of seems a little bit sketchy, and we know that Brienne is actually only doing this because Lady Stoneheart propositioned her with it. She was about to die, and then she gets saved, but Lady Stoneheart says, look, if you go in, so we don't really know if Brienne's going to go through this. She may have a change of heart and decide to tell the truth to Jaime about there's basically an ambush waiting for him, or she may go through with it, and then her and Jaime die there. But an interesting thing about this is that if that theory is true, and Jaime, Brienne, Sandor go off to go and maybe talk sense into Cersei / kill the Mountain, if that were to happen, perfect chance for Arya to come in and play the Lady Stoneheart and basically kill Jaime while they're making their way to King's Landing. I know I sounded a bit jumbled there, but the characters are the same if you replace Lady Stoneheart with Arya. You guys let me know what you think about this theory down below in the comment section. Do you think it's possible that Jaime dies this season? I know it would suck, but it would also be perfect for that bittersweet ending if we have Cersei alive but Jaime dead, after doing all this heroic stuff and redeeming himself in front of House Stark. Also, do you think that him and Bran, on a scale from 1 to 10, how awkward do you think that conversation's going to be between Bran and Jaime? I would probably say it's like an 11, but I think it's going to be funny nonetheless. And now on for the filming news. So apparently, Kit Harington has officially arrived in Northern Ireland. He's not going to be filming today, but he is set to film later on this week. And now on for the spoiler news. So you might want to click out of this video if you don't want to know any spoilers. But apparently, our sources state that The opening scene for Game of Thrones Season 8 will in fact take place in Wintertown, which is a place right outside Winterfell. It's sort of like a little village that, relies heavily on Winterfell in order for when winter comes. So basically the scene is set to take place outside of there, and it doesn't involve any major characters, but a minor character is set to be there. David Nutter is going to be the director of this episode, and he was also reported to be on set this week, so that sort of makes sense. And I honestly think that it's not really a surprise that we're starting off at Winterfell again. Not technically at Winterfell, like the very first scene will be, involving a minor character in Wintertown, but I'm pretty sure the following scene will be right at Winterfell. What's most likely going on here is this is Alice Karstark or Small John Umber's son. One of them outside in Wintertown, possibly training. It did say it was a minor character, so I don't think that those characters will be recast, although it's possible. And I definitely think that it's fair to say that they were minor characters because they did have that emotional and intense scene with Jon Snow shortly before he left Winterfell. So it's fair to call them minor characters, especially when all the normal minor characters have been upgraded to major characters in Game of Thrones Season 7. Oh, how many times did I just say characters? Let's make it 10. Characters! But anyway, they could be filming a scene where they're learning how to fight. We do know that Jon Snow said that every man, woman, and child is going to be given a sword, and they should be taught how to fight so that they can help save Westeros just like everybody else. We're not going to discriminate. Obviously, if you're old and decrepit, I doubt they're going to have you out on the battlefield. And if you're pregnant, I also doubt they're going to have you out on the battlefield. But the fact that this scene said that it involved a minor character, there's only a few minor characters left on the series, so it has to be one of these characters, especially if it's taking place in Wintertown. That's pretty much all the information as of right now that we were given on that opening scene. So once more information becomes available, I'll provide that to you via video format. Also, let me know what you guys think about my Jaime theory. Do you think it's possible that he may die trying to go and save Cersei? Or do you think that he didn't initially head straight to Winterfell and he may be headed to an encampment outside of King's Landing to go and try to get an army to take with him to go and fight the undead? I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you could, please slap a like on this video. The like goal will be 150. Also, leave a comment down below. Make sure to subscribe, turn notifications on so you can enter this contest to win this $20 Amazon gift card. The winner will be selected on January 25th. I want to give a super special thank you to every single one of my Patreons over here on patreon.com. Mario, Terry, Lise, Christian, Angie, Tizania, Chris, Jeremiah, Fred, Nancy, Ann, Amberlyn, Beth, Rocketman, King Wolf Dom, Dave Gray, Queen of Maine, Helena von Leinstein, Belladonna, Cater Tot, Juliet, Elder Flores, Darton, John, Marilyn, Queen, Brian, Mel of Winterfell, Sammy Omer, Joe Swag, Lynn Shaw, Samantha Morris, Enid, and Angel. Without all of y'all, these videos would not be possible, and if anyone watching this would like to become a sponsor and show your support to Sir Hunt's Reviews, all you have to do is check the link down below in the description. I want to thank you all again so much for watching. My name's Mark, and this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews.